Hello listener, today's story isn't just terrifying, it's one of the darkest, bloodiest tales in American true crime history. Let me introduce you to Belle Gunness, a woman who was known by many names. But history remembers her as the Butcher of La Porte. Belle Gunness was born as Brynhild Polstetter Sturseth on November 11, 1859, in Selbu, Norway. She later changed her name to Belle when she immigrated to the United States. By all accounts, Belle was a tall, heavy-set woman, strong, imposing, and not someone you'd easily forget. But what no one knew was that Belle would go on to become one of America's most prolific female serial killers. Belle grew up in poverty on a small farm in Norway. It's believed that a traumatic event in her late teens may have shaped her dark future. One story says she was pregnant and was beaten by a man who caused her to lose her baby. The man came from a rich family, and he was never punished. According to local legend, Belle changed after that, becoming cold, calculated, and obsessed with money. In 1881, she immigrated to the United States, following her sister to Chicago, Illinois. In 1884, Belle married a man named Mad Sorensen. Together, they opened a candy store. But not long after it opened, the store mysteriously burned down. The insurance money collected. Then in 1900, Mads himself died suddenly. Belle said it was from a heart condition, but oddly enough, he had two life insurance policies, and both happened to overlap on the exact day he died. Belle collected the money again. Total payout, about $5,000, a huge sum at the time. After her husband's death, Belle moved to La Porte, Indiana with her children. There, she bought a farm and married another man, Peter Gunness. Just 1 week after the wedding, Peter's infant daughter from a previous marriage mysteriously died, while Belle was home alone with her. Then, not long after, Peter himself suffered a freak accident. Belle said a meat grinder fell from a shelf and crushed his skull. Again, insurance money followed. Here's where Belle's crimes turned even darker. She started placing personal ads in Scandinavian-language newspapers across the Midwest. She claimed to be a wealthy widow, looking for a good, honest man to share her life and her farm with. Men began to arrive at Belle's farm, and then they vanished. Each one came carrying money, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of dollars, to start a life with Belle, and none of them were ever seen again. In 1908, Belle's farmhouse burned to the ground. Inside the ruins, authorities found the bodies of Belle's children. And the body of a woman they assumed was Belle, though the body was missing a head. As investigators dug around the property, what they found was beyond horrifying. Dozens of bodies, men, women, and children, buried in shallow graves, dismembered, stuffed into sacks, covered in lye. Some were just bones, others were headless, some were never identified. The final count, at least 14 victims, but many believe the real number could be over 40. Here's the most chilling part of this story. That headless body found in the burned house? It was never confirmed to be Belle's. Some believe she had faked her own death and escaped, possibly with a new identity, free to kill again. There were even sightings of her reported years later, but nothing was ever proven. To this day, no one knows for sure what happened to the real Belle Gunness. Belle Gunness was many things: a mother, a wife, a businesswoman. But she was also a cold-blooded murderer who lured victims with kindness, only to butcher them and bury them in her backyard. She used love as a trap, and her greed left a trail of bodies behind. Her name still haunts La Porte, Indiana, and her story stands as one of the most terrifying in American history.